2014 Gifted Gardeners Ribbon Cutting Ceremony. To all of our guests, to the members of the Gifted Gardeners, the members of the community, media, to our lovely Golden Ambassadors, and to the president of our university, Dr. Gwendolyn Boyd, I again say welcome, welcome, and I'm so glad to see you here. I'll go ahead and go along with the program today, and forgive me if I get a little bit excited, but I'm happy to really see the Gifted Gardeners finally having a ribbon cutting ceremony. I think for Mr. Price Crum, it's been a long time coming. All right. Again, good morning. My name is Derek Long. I have the privilege to serve as the Chief Research for Gifted Gardeners 2014. And I also serve as your host for today's ribbon cutting ceremony. A Montgomery native, she earned her undergraduate degree from Alabama State University with a major in mathematics and a double minor in physics and music. Upon graduation, she received a fellowship to pursue graduate work at Yale University, where she was the first African American female to earn a Master's of Science degree in mechanical engineering from this Ivy League institution. She also earned both the Master of Divinity and the Doctor of Ministry degrees from Howard University. I'm proud to introduce our president, Dr. Gwendolyn E. Boyd, for the welcome.
Thank you very much, Derek, and good morning to all of you. What a beautiful day God has given us. It is His day. He has made it, and we come to rejoice in it. Thank you for allowing me to be with you today as we see the fruits of the labor of our ASU student gardeners, known as the ASU Gifted Gardeners. We thank you for the opportunity to recognize them today as we dedicate this beautiful piece of God's green earth to His glory and goodness. And just a month or so ago, the first sod was turned and the first holes were drilled to create stage one of the ASU Gifted Gardeners Community Garden. We believe it may be the very first garden of its type at ASU, which has occurred within the university's modern history. And while many people in schools have had victory gardens during World War I and World War II, this may also be among the very first urban or community garden in Montgomery, which has been planted by a university for the free enjoyment and use of both the school and the residents of the community. And for many years, this patch of soil was part of the grounds of the Hazel Hedge Plantation, which was part of the Gales family land holdings. But in more recent years, it had other homes and businesses nearby, and of late was acquired by Alabama State University as we have expanded our campus. For nearly the last 20 years, this piece of prime, flat, well-drained, well-lit, fertile ground did little more than get mowed and grow weeds. However, today, we celebrate its reclamation and rebirth as a garden, a place of growth and expansion, a green space, an oasis of tilled soil in an urban landscape, a meeting place, a gathering place, not just for the farmer or the landed gentry, but for our students and for the community at large. The vision for this garden comes straight from our greatest treasure, our students here at Alabama State University, our next generation of academic growth. It is a cultivation from our students who are the product of growth, which is the result of planting, seeding, weeding, feeding, watering, and nurturing of our educational and family gardens, which produce these fine students here today. And one ASU student in particular is the head gardener of this project and deserves our recognition, Mr. Brandon Price Crum, who is one of the founders of the ASU Gifted Gardeners Group and a fine young man and student here at ASU. In John's Gospel, chapter 21, verse 17, Jesus issues a command to Peter, and he says, "Feed my people." And it is a call from our Creator and that we take a part of the community wherever we are and be a part of that community and walk with the people there. So we each, individually and collectively, are called to feed the people. So at ASU, we feed young minds with wisdom and knowledge, but we also pass on to them a willingness to give back to the community wherever they may live. So today, the ASU Gifted Gardeners show us that we are succeeding in passing on to these students a desire to give back, to make this patch of earth just a little bit better than it once was, and thus feed the people. And so we thank you for coming today. We want to thank Brandon and all of the students who have made this garden a reality. We thank all of the ASU faculty, staff, and community members for what you've done and will do in order that we may make this garden verdant and successful. It is my hope that this garden serves as a vehicle to feed a broad variety of people who may fellowship in the garden, learn, share, and nurture not only our students but our community as we rejoice in the bounty of God's blessings. Thank you for participating, and may God richly bless your lives.
Now we will have a selection from Mrs. Ayana DeBurst, a junior English major.
There will be mountains that I will have to climb, and there will be battles that I will have to fight. But victory or defeat, it's up to me to decide. But how can I expect to win if I never tried? I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. Never said there wouldn't be trials. Never said I wouldn't fall. Never said that everything go the way I wanted to go. But when my back is against the wall and I feel hope is gone, I just lift my head up to the sky and say, help me to be strong. Oh, I just can't give up now. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far. I don't believe he's brought me this far. I don't believe he's brought us this far to leave me. Thank you.
What an amazing selection by Miss Ayana DeBurst. We'll continue our program now with the honors. I'll now have Mr. Derek Sanders, a junior engineering major from Birmingham, Alabama.
Hello, my name is Derek Sanders. I am the Community Connections Coordinator for the Gifted Gardeners. In the process of getting the group established on campus, there have been a number of influential people who have played a significant role in helping establish a solid foundation. We will now like to honor these individuals and give them a certificate as a token of our appreciation. Once your name is called, please come up and accept your award. Dr. Larry Spence. Miss Valerie Pittman. Miss Carolyn Stevens. Dr. John F. Knight, Jr. Miss Zilla Fluker. Unfortunately, Miss Fluker could not be here with us today. Miss Jennifer Anderson. Miss Kamala Kennedy. And last but not least, Mr. Jay Crawford.
And again, we thank you for all of your hard work. And I know were others, including the members, who have really helped all this come to fruition. And I know Brandon. I've heard him talk many days and many nights, and he is truly thankful, of course, for everyone who had a hand in making sure that the garden is where it is today. And now, and before I get into my scripted response, I do want to say that when Brandon, Mr. Brandon Price Crum, and I just say what I call him, I say BP Crum. That's my name for him. And he brought the idea to me one day, and he said that he was going to have a garden. And the first thing I thought is that we were going to be out here tilling ground and putting down seeds and all. He said no, I want a modern garden with modern techniques and some things that we can research, some things that we can possibly continue to grow with research being furthered at other institutions and maybe even here at Alabama State University. And when he came to me like that, I took him serious. Then I said, okay, well, I'm going to be a part of this. And he asked me to be on the research team, and he worked really, really hard. Like every single day that I see him, he's doing something that deals with gifted gardeners. I mean, something. So that is just a testament to who he is. All right, so I get back to the program. Brandon Marcellus Price Crum, born November 19, 1992 in Flint, Michigan, to Mrs. Lucinda Torres and Mr. Kenneth Crum. Mr. Price Crum is a junior criminal justice major whose goal is to become an environmental lawyer. He first had the vision for the Gifted Gardeners in spring 2013. He has since worked tirelessly to bring together a team, sponsors, and supporters that now make up the Gifted Gardeners. With innovative thinking and a progressive attitude, Brandon Price Crum has shared with State University the opportunity to connect with the local Montgomery community and other research institutions alike. His hope is that the garden will one day serve as a hub for research among the university's sciences and have a positive impact on urban gardening nationwide. Let us give a warm welcome to founder and president Brandon Price Crum.
First thing I want to say is each and every one of you believe in one thing if you are here. You believe that faith with works is alive, and that with that you can strive to do anything and everything that you want to do. So give yourselves a round of applause for being here. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I want to thank each and every member, because without you, this would not be possible. I want to thank each and every faculty member that has played any kind of role, any type of advice you've given me, any type of instruction, leadership, guidance, any type of help that you've lended in the garden, any type of ride that I needed, any type of funding. I want to thank you so much. Everyone that is involved from the community, our sponsors, one is here who made our wonderful shirts, Capital Graphics, Gourmet Services, the Office of the Vice President, Miss President. I want to thank you all. I was talking to Ms. Fluker about 2 months ago, and she deals with businesses and companies. And one thing that she told me, she said, Brandon, what I want to give you is your 3-word slogan. I said, okay, Ms. Fluker, what would be the 3-word slogan? She said, first pillar of your 3-word slogan would be foundation. Now, when we're talking about a foundation, we're talking about laying something solid for someone else to build on. Now, when Ms. Fluker told me that, I knew exactly what she was meaning. I want to take it back to my grandfather and my great-grandfather, who were farmers and dealt with agriculture. That's why it's in my blood today. I want to thank them. That is the foundation that I was built upon. Now, I want to build that solid foundation here at Alabama State with a garden, an urban modern garden, where we're not tilling up the ground, where we don't use those old school methods of having to get out here and pick weeds every day, where we're using raised bed gardening. And for those of you who are not familiar with that, that's a term where you're basically setting up your own ecosystem in separated boxes. We're doing 4x8 size boxes, and then you're filling them up with soil, and then you're growing your plants in there, so that's the best soil that you can get. And also, it takes the hard work out of gardening. We also another thing that Ms. Fluker, the second pillar that Ms. Fluker instructed me on was growth. Now, I was doing an interview earlier today, and the lady asked me, this is phase 1. What do you plan on doing growing into the future? Now, our community ties are strong right now at Alabama State, and we want to continue to build that. Our ties with other universities is strong right now. We want to continue to build that. So with that, we have partnered with outside entities, and be able to establish this solid foundation that we were talking about in phase 1. But now we want to grow. Every single plant that is in the garden has been donated from Tuskegee University, and I'm proud to say that. So even though we might not be playing them in Turkey Day Classic, we still have a taste of our up the street family or kinship right here at Alabama State. And I want to thank them for that. I hope they're coming. I hope they'll be here. But they wanted to be on the way. But we planned it last week. Another question people ask me, hey, what are you guys planning? This year we have planted greens. We have planted field peas. We have planted spinach, tomatoes, and Swiss chard, right?
Yeah. That's right.
All from Tuskegee University. So moving forward, what we want to be able to do is invite the local community to come and be involved in workshops, or we learn about nutrition here on campus, or we learn about how to set up a garden in your own backyard, where you learn how to cook the food that you grow in your own backyard. Moving on to phase 2, we want to have our own greenhouse here on campus, where local community members can come and grow their transplants here on campus and allow us to do it for them, and then they could take it back home to their garden and plant. That's one thing that we want to do moving forward. Also, we want to set this up as a beginning, as a starting spot, so that other universities can have a trickle effect, and then also nationwide, where it's community gardens in every urban or every city area across the nation. The last pillar that Ms. Fluker instructed me on was sustainability. Now, when she said sustainability, it was right up my alley. I said everything that we're doing is about being stable, about sustainability, because one thing about us, and that's good about a garden, you have all the elements of recycling. You have going green. Everything that you use, everything that you throw away can be used right in the garden. There are plenty of things that Physical Plant has that they say, hey, we're just gonna throw it away, that we've taken and implemented into the garden. And we want to thank Physical Plant for that, and thank whoever invented gardening. We want to thank them for that, for allowing us to, be able to say, hey, Alabama State is going green. We have a going green initiative right here through the Gifted Gardeners. When she told me sustainability, I thought about a future. I thought about how each and every student here at this university comes for an ultimate goal, and that's to one day go into the job market and be successful. But one thing every single one of us is going to do every single day is eat. So if we eliminate the cost of having to buy fruits and vegetables, and we buy the seeds and we plant it in our own backyard, imagine how much more money we will have in our pocket to spend towards other things that we will want and need. Sustainability. Dr. Knight asked me, he said, Brandon, you only gonna be here for another year and a half. What is your goal to keep this right here at Alabama State moving forward with or without you being here? One thing I wanna do, as Derek stated, was connect with all the university science departments and institute a research, or they could begin to do research out here in the garden. Connect with the Department of Education, or we can have the education department planting and learning how to use new teaching methods, which people are doing to deal with behavioral issues in classrooms. They're now taking students outside of the classroom and using gardens as a method to counteract that. So using the education department in that. I'm a criminal justice major. Most people ask me, how does that tie in to having a garden? I say, well, it's this simple. People go to jail, get out, and then they can't get a job. So now, what criminal justice, what people who study in criminal justice all over the world are doing now is thinking of ways that we can, instead of sending individuals back to jail or not giving them a way where they could feed their family began to put them in situations where they're growing on farms, they're working at farmers markets, they're growing their own gardens to be able to make funding, feed their family for one, and then also be able to make money for the things that they want and need, to reduce the recidivism rates. That was my ultimate goal on it. I want to move into environmental law. It's some things that I feel we take advantage of. I feel like the Indians used to, hey, we cut down the tree, let's plant another one. Stewardship. That's one of our principles as gifted gardeners, stewardship. And as long as each and every one of you individuals continue to support us and continue to encourage and guide us, we will be able to move forward with this plan, and we will be able to be successful as you make us. So as I started, each and every single one of you are proud individuals. One, you're proud of your university. Two, you're proud of these students because this is the future. And for you to be here and support each and every one of these students shows hats off to each and every one of you, because you show that you believe in the future. You believe that these students can be whatever they want to be. You believe that these students have initiatives and plans and goals that can make not only their generation better, but your generation better as well. So I want to thank you all for coming. That's all that I have. Moving forward, we do have a few dedications in the garden that we will get to next. One is my grandfather, like I stated before. He introduced me to agriculture. Another mark that we have in the garden is Mr. William Roy Tank Sims Jr. Before this started, Mr. Sims basically gave me business advice, or gave me a business head up, because I had to go to administration and present this plan. So Mr. Sims and I had a sat down. He's been in my life since I was a little boy, but I got of age and I began to be able to talk about business to him. Mr. Sims told me, your initial meeting, the university is going to present you with plans and ideas. You don't have to say anything. What you have and what you've shown me is great in itself. So take this down to the university and don't say anything. Listen to everything that they have to say. And that's what I did. And the tragic thing is, the next day, my dad got a call from his wife. And she said that he was cutting the grass, and she went in the house and she heard that the lawnmower went off. She came back out and found that he was dead. And are any of them here? I thank you all for coming. I really do. And we also have a granite mark dedicated in his honor in the garden as well. Also, one of our members, Jonte Lilly, when we had the snow, I'm a Golden Ambassador. That's how I met Jonte. And we found out that his brother went missing. And a few days later, found out that his brother was dead. So every year, annually, we want to plant a flower in his brother's honor.
1, 2, 3. All right. The garden is open.
Give the garden, everybody.